All right, welcome back to another demo game of Field General Football. This will be the re-release of the original, well, pretty close to the original Field General Football game. In this game, we're going to have Green Bay at Minnesota. This is 1972, and the Packers favored in this one, as they have an intangible rating of 1. The Vikings have an intangibles rating of 0. That's sort of the team strength, and you can see how close they are to each other. In this game, I'm going to try out a template I made for calling plays. So I'm still going to go with the automated play calling, but this time this is my game plan for each team based off of the team ratings and the players that are on the team. Green Bay is going to run the crap out of the football because Minnesota's a +1, and Green Bay has a +2 fullback and a +1 halfback. They're split in, flanker, tight end, and bench are all -2. So they are going to run the football. They won this game. This is an actual game played in 1972, and they won 23-7 at Minnesota. The Vikings are going to have to take a few more chances here. You can see here on 3rd and 6. They're going to be either running the ball outside or doing timing passes, which are the two most risky types of plays, but they're also the one with the biggest reward. So they're going to hope for some home runs on this, and they're just going to have to take more chances, which might lead to more fumbles and interceptions. But I think when you're playing a better team, you're just going to have to take more chances. So hopefully that pays off, and we'll have to see how that goes. We'll roll to see who gets the coin toss. 1-3 is the visiting team in my book, so that's going to be Green Bay wins the coin toss. They're going to elect to receive they're going to defer to the second half where they will take the football. So Minnesota's going to get the ball first. And the way we do kickoffs is we go out to it'll be the 24 for Minnesota. That's their average starting position. They'll be 1st and 10. So I'm not going to go through a lot of gameplay in this. If you want to check out more like slow playing, you can see the last few videos where I played this. Slide this over here. All right. So 1st and 10. So I'm still going to go automated, and I'll show you that the first one. So 1st and 10, and I'm looking at the home team. The home team, there are 2 numbers here with a slash in between. So the left side is the visiting team, right side is the home team. These represent a D6, a random D6 roll. And I'm looking at a 3. A 3 on 1st and 10 for Minnesota, according to the game plan that I put together, is an outside run. So I'm looking at the outside, 6 to the halfback. The Vikings halfback is a +1, so that's good. And that's 7. And then Green Bay has a -2, so that's going to be 7 -2 is a 5-yard gain. So a nice pickup on 1st down for Minnesota, 2nd down at 5. All right, 2nd and 4 to 7, we have a 4. That's going to be another outside run, this time to the halfback. Same thing, 6 becomes 7, 7 -2 is 5. And that's going to be 2 runs and a 1st down. Exactly what they needed. And it'll be 1st and 10 from the Minnesota 34. So Minnesota has a 0 fullback, 1 halfback, +3 on the split end. -2 flanker, -2 tight end, but a 0 for the bench. So we're going to try to make some hay on the outside runs and the deep passes, and we'll see if we can break some things. 1st and 10, 5 is a timing pass. That's going to be incomplete. And that's already going to put us behind schedule. So let's see how this works out. 2nd and 10. So 2nd and 8 plus, it's either an outside run or a timing pass. It's going to be an outside run. As to the fullback, 3. 3 -2 is 1, so just a 1-yard gain. Brings up 3rd and 9. And 3rd and 7 plus, it's mostly timing passes. Let's see, a 4 is going to be a deep pass, and that's 18 yards to the split end. 18 plus 3 is 21. The passing defense is a -2, so 21 -2 is 19 yards. Bam, bam, bam. So very nice. On 3rd and long, 10, 20 minus 1 is 19. And that takes us out to the other side of the field. So from the Green Bay 46, 1st and 10. 5 is going to be another timing pass. Wow, 33 to the tight end. My goodness. So 33 minus 4 is 29. 29 yards. Minnesota. Don't hurt them. 10, 20, 30 minus 1 is 29, down to the 17, and Minnesota is coming out ripping in this one, 1st and 10. 1 is going to be an inside run. That's 4 to the fullback. 4 minus 2 is 2, so down to the 15. That's going to be 2nd down. We do have a red zone, so we'll go with that. I mean, that is the same thing that would have happened. So we're still in the red zone. We have red zone and we have goal line, so we'll wait until we're like within 5 or so for the goal line. So we'll run the red zone right now. 5 is going to be a progression pass. That's 5 to the tight end. 5 minus 4 is just 1 yard on the completion. Brings up 3rd down. 3rd down and 7 from inside the red zone. A 1 in the red zone is an inside run, 2 to the fullback. That's going to be a 0-yard gain as they play it super conservative here. And that's going to set up a field goal attempt. We're at the 14, and that is going to be inside half of the lowest, even if they were at 30, that's inside of that. So that's going to be an automatic field goal as Minnesota rewarded for getting down inside the 20. All right, so 3-0 Minnesota as they kick the very short field goal. And nice drive for the Vikings, and that's exactly the kind of plays that they needed in order to beat this Green Bay team. And let's see, Green Bay's going to beat them into submission, I think, with the run. So let's see how this goes for them. Minnesota is a -2 on their passing defense, but a +1 on the running defense, and this is just not going to go well, I think, in terms of running the football. All right, so 1st and 10. Let's see if they can get some lucky rolls and hang with the Packers for a while. 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line. The Packers do not have an asterisk. Neither team has an asterisk for their kick return, so they can't try for a kick return touchdown. 1st and 10. Everything is an inside run except a 6, so this will be an inside run. 0 to the fullback, but their fullback is a +2. And a +2 for the Packers, plus a +1 is +3. So 3-yard gain on 1st down brings up 2nd down. So hopefully we can get the Packers into like desperation kind of mode where they'll start throwing the ball. We'll see. 2nd down and 7. This will be another inside run. 3 to the fullback becomes 5, +1 is 6, and that's out to the 36. And that brings up 3rd and 1. 3rd down and 1. We have a 4. That's going to be an outside run. Outside run is to the halfback. 4 + 1 is 5, +1 is 6, and that's out to the 42. Brings up 1st and 10 for the Pack as they get a little toss sweep for 6 yards. 1st and 10. Back to the inside run. 5 to the halfback is 7, +1 is 8, and they are picking up huge chunks of yard now. 2nd and 2. A 6 on 2nd and short is going to be an inside run. They're just running it on 2nd and short. That's the only thing they have. So 4 to the halfback becomes 5, becomes 6, and 6 more yards puts it out to the 44. So they cross midfield, and they're now in Vikings territory with that 1st down run. 1st down and 10 for the Pack. 4 on 1st down is another inside run, this time to the halfback. 2 + 1 is 3. So even on a 0, they're going to get 3 yards. So it's quite amazing. I don't expect too many Maybe if the bench comes into play, and they might get some negative yardage. But what is it? Second down and 7. Second down and 7. So inside run or could be the outside or progression pass. It's going to be a progression pass, 2 to the tight end, which is in the Vikings' favor. So 2 minus 2 is a minus 2 yard loss. Don't do that again, Packers. So completion, but it's lost for minus 2 as they try to set up a little screen pass. Brings up third down and 9. So 3rd and 9, if we can get them into these situations, I think we're golden. This will be a 2 on 3rd and 9. They're going to go with the progression pass. Nice, short and safe. Their split end is a minus 1. So that's a 2 and a minus 2. That's going to be another short completion, but goes nowhere. So if we can manage to somehow stop them on 1st and 2nd down on the run, we get them into passing situations. That's where you want the Packers to be. So the Packers are going to have to punt. They are at the 43, and they don't have a great solution. They're split in, they're flanker, they're not minus 1, minus 2. The bench is minus 2 on running and passing. So they're going to have to play field position. They're down 3-0 to Minnesota. They don't think that that's a huge hurdle to get over. So they're going to punt the ball. Their punting is 42. So that's going to take it down to the 1. And Minnesota's return is just a 5. So that's going to be out to the 6. Actually, because it's down to the 1, let's do a little roll here. We'll give it a 50-50 chance of rolling into the end zone. So odd number, it rolls into the end zone. Even number, it dies at the 1. How about that? That'll be our risk reward. Oh, no. So the ball is down at the 1. And Minnesota will take over 1st and 10 at their 1 yard line. All right. We're hoping for no safety. All right. So we do have a line on here called backed up. So we're going to go inside run for most of it or progression pass for Minnesota. So let's see what they got. 1. Oh, thankfully, an inside run. That's 4 to the fullback. 4 minus 2 is 2 as they eke out a couple of yards out to the 3. They're just trying to get a little daylight between them and the goal line. So 2nd down and 8 from the backed up position. 5 is going to be a progression pass, so they go for it. They throw it to the running back out of the backfield. Quarterback in the end zone gets it out to the running back, and the Vikings have a 0 bench. So that's going to be 9 minus 2 is 7 yards out to the 10. Clutch. So we're almost there. We're almost out of the shadow of our own end zone. 3rd down and 1. And we'll still use the backed up. That's going to be an inside run. 13 yards to the fullback. That'll be 13 minus 2 is 11. So 10, 11 as they come all the way out from the shadow of their own end zone, starting at the 1 with an 11-yard gain for a 1st down. And we can get into our 1st down offense now. Getting about a third of the 1st quarter left. 1st down and 10 from the 21. We get a 5. That's going to be a timing pass, 27 yards as they let it rip. 27 to the flanker. The flanker's a minus 2, so 25 minus 2 is 23. And another big gain for the Minnesota passing game as they pick up 23 yards. 10, 20, 1, 2, 3, and out to the 44. So far, they've managed to limit the damage and only have the big plays. So let's see if they can keep this up. 1st down and 10 from the Minnesota 44. 1st down play, 4 is an outside run. That's going to be a penalty on the defense for 5 yards. And so we will repeat 1st down. So 1st and 5. 4 is another outside run. 3 to the halfback becomes 4. 4 minus 2 is 2 yards on the gain. Brings up 2nd down and 3. 2nd down and 3. Mostly, actually, it's going to be all inside runs for Minnesota. So 4, the inside run is a 2. 2 minus 2 is 0 as they get stuffed at the line of scrimmage by this stout Green Bay defense. 3rd down and 3. So 3rd down and 3 to 6. A 5 is going to be a timing pass, and that will be incomplete. 4th down, as they get all the way out from their 1 to the other side of midfield, and now they're going to have to punt. Their punting is a 41. They're at the 49, so that's going to be down to the 8. And the Green Bay return is 15, and they have a chance for a touchdown. We're just going to take the 15. So 10, 15, and that's out to the 23. So that's excellent field position based on where Minnesota was. All right, so Minnesota flips the field. Let's see if Green Bay can take advantage. Just a few plays left in the first quarter. 1st and 10, this will be an inside run. 3 to the halfback becomes 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. And they're all the way out to the 28, 1st and 10, or 2nd and 5. A 3 will be an inside run again. 3, 4, 5. So 5 more to the halfback. And that's going to be a 1st down. 1st and 10 for Green Bay. Back to the well with the inside run. 1 to the halfback becomes 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. And that will be out to the 36. 2nd down and 7 for Green Bay. A 1 on 2nd and 7 is another inside run. This to the fullback. They still get 3 yards, even though it's a 0 here. Out to the 39. Brings up 3rd down and 4 for the Green Bay Packers. This will be the last play of the 4th quarter. 3rd down and 4. A 3 is going to be an outside run. Outside run is 0 to the running back. That's where you can kill them. So they're -2 plus 1 is -1, and they're going to take a loss on 3rd and 4. That's going to bring up 4th down at 5, and they're going to force a punt. So -1 on the run. And that'll bring up 4th and 5. So it'll be 4th and 5 when we come back to start the 2nd quarter. Right, and back with 2nd quarter action, it will be a punt from Green Bay. Their punt is 42 yards. This will be punt number 2. 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2. It's down to the 20. And the return for Minnesota is a 5. So out to the 25, that's where Minnesota will take over 1st and 10. The Vikings have been playing pretty well here, actually, on offense. They stalled out a little bit the last time, but they managed to put up almost 50 yards of offense. So we'll see. Now that they get average starting field position, maybe they can get down the field to a field goal chance. 1st and 10 for the Vikes is going to be a timing pass, 29 yards to the halfback. They've had some success throwing the ball on 1st down. The halfback is a 1, so that's 30 yards. -2 is 28, and a 28-yard gain. They've had some big gains here. And another 1st down pass. 10, 20, 30, -1, 2, out to the 47 of Green Bay. Green Bay, the defense, a little bit shell-shocked here as they're not able to get to the quarterback, and these passes are getting off. Inside run, 4 to the fullback, -2 becomes 2. So 2-yard run on 1st down keeps the Green Bay defense honest. 2nd down and 8. 4 is going to be an outside run, -2 to the halfback, so it's going to be a tough one. -2 plus 1 is -1, and then a -2 is a -3. So 1, 2, 3 as the Green Bay defense stiffens on 2nd down. Brings up 3rd down and long, 3rd and 11. This is going to be a 6 is going to be an outside run. They go conservative, so 2 to the fullback. That's good because there's a quarterback pressure there. 2 to the running back. The running back is a 0, so 2 minus 2 is a 0. So they hand the ball off, trying to just get some yardage, but it doesn't work out. And they're going to have to punt again from the Packers 48. Good defense by the Packers. 41 yards, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 1. One is down to the 7. And again, 15 yards on the return. So 10, 15, out to the 22 for Green Bay. All right, 1st and 10 for the Pack. 3, inside run, -1 to the halfback. Becomes a 0. And a -2 or a +1 becomes 1. So they get 1 yard. There is a fumble on the play, a 6-6, and the offense gets to keep it. Otherwise, it's to the defense. It's a 3-3. You can see it there. And that is going to be a fumble-aya at the 23. So Minnesota picks up the fumble. They get 1 yard and fumble the football. And that is potentially a huge play as Minnesota's already in field goal position. Turnovers a huge key in this game. Minnesota's up 3-0 in this game as they scored on a field goal in their first possession, but nobody's done anything since. Big mistake by Green Bay as they fumble the football on the inside run. And this is going to be 1st and 10 for the Vikings. 5 is a timing pass, 33 yards to the tight end. 33 to the tight end. Let's figure out the yardage first. So it's going to be 33 minus 2 is 31. Minus 2 is 31. Minus 2 is 29. Sorry about that. It's early. It's 6 o'clock on a Saturday morning. It's too early to be doing that. So 29 yards. They only need to go 23. And can you believe it? Minnesota scores on a 29-yard touchdown. Oh, my gosh. As the Haferkamp game plan is working out perfectly here. Even to the tight end, you know. Eventually, this is going to catch up to us, so we're going to throw some interceptions. But right now, it's super fun. So the punt... Let me get my cheat sheet here just to make sure. So the cheat sheet says a 1 or a 2. 1-2 is a missed PAT. It's a 4-4. That would have been a missed kick. But no missed PAT. That's a 7 spot for the Vikings. They now lead 10-0 over these Green Bay Packers. All right. The kickoff to the Pack, they're going to start at their own 27. Pretty good field position there. So the Vikings already with over 100 yards passing just early in the second quarter. Very uncharacteristic, but I think they had something like 40 plays or something, 45 plays in this game. They already are at 21, so they're already doing better than they were. All right, so 1st and 10 for the Pack. 3 is going to be another inside run. They go back to the well. 6 plus 1 is 7, and out to the 34 brings up 2nd down and 3. 2nd and 3, inside run. 5 to the halfback becomes 6. 6 plus 1 is another 7 spot as they're averaging about 6.5 yards per carry. So 5, 6, 7 yards and a 1st down. 1st and 10. Back to the inside run. 3 to the halfback becomes 4, becomes 5. And that is out to the 46. 2nd down and 5 for Green Bay. A 4 on 2nd and 5 is going to be an outside run, this time to the fullback on the outside as he goes off tackle with a pitch. 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9, and that's out to the 45 as they cross midfield into Vikings territory. 1st and 10 from the Minnesota 45. Yesterday in the video, I accidentally hit the M button, I think, and then it muted. So, sorry about that. You missed the 4th quarter. Oakland won 20-9. 20-6. 1st and 10 for the Green Bay Packers. a 5 on first down is another inside run. 11 to the fullback becomes 14 with a +2 to the fullback and a 1 from the Minnesota Vikings defense. That's going to be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 down to the 31 as they rumble on a big gainer first down. At the 31 for Green Bay. 4, another inside run. 1 becomes 3, +1 is 4. And that's out to the 27. Second down and 6. Minnesota defense trying to bend but not break here. 2nd and 6, inside run. 4 becomes 6, +1 is 7. And that'll take the ball down to the 20. Green Bay feeling very serious on this drive. 1st and 10, a 6 is going to be an outside run. This time they try to go outside with the halfback sweep. It'll be the backup running back as the starters are gassed. -1 on the play. -2 on the chart is -3. +1 is -2. So they lose 2 yards. That gets them off schedule. Let's see what happens. 2nd down and 12. A 4 on 2nd and long is going to be an outside run. 2 to the fullback becomes 4, becomes 5. So they're able to pick up some of that yardage and make it manageable on 3rd down. 3rd down and 7. A 1 on 3rd and 7 plus is a progression pass. That's going to be incomplete as they are not able to hit on the pass. First incompletion of the day. They have they're 2 for 3 with -2 yards passing. So not their strong suit, but they definitely have, they're probably up around 100 yards rushing already. So they are 1st and 10 at the Minnesota 17. The Packers line to go for the place kicking is a 34. 17 is half of that. I'll give it to them. Typically, it's less than half, so I'm going to give that to them as I'm pretty generous today. So 10-3 is going to be our score as we have, we're about halfway through the 2nd quarter, maybe 2/3 of the way, something like that. And Minnesota will take the ball 1st and 10 from their own 24. So Minnesota with a 7-point lead over Green Bay. Minnesota's going to keep trying to air it out, I think, see if they can make things happen. This is a timing pass on 1st down, 13 to the tight end. -4 becomes 9, so not a 1st down, but pretty close as they get it out to the 33. For a 2nd and 1, 5 on 2nd and 1 is going to be an inside run. 5 to the halfback is a 6. -2 is a 4, so technically a 1st down. But there is a fumble check. A 6-6, Minnesota keeps the ball. Otherwise, it is a fumble. You can see that is turned over to the Green Bay defense at the 37, and that is a huge turnover. So it'll be 1st and 10 Minnesota after a 4-yard gain. They get a fumble, and they lose it to the Green Bay defense. Green Bay takes over 1st and 10 with a handful of plays left. It is a 1st down play. This is an inside run. Surprise, surprise. So they go back to the backup running back. That's a +1, and a +1 from the defense is a 2-yard gain. So even the backup getting a few yards here. 2nd down. 2nd down and 8. 1 inside run. 2 to the fullback becomes 3. Down to the 32. Minnesota with good defense here. It's 3rd and 5. 6 on 3rd and 5 is a timing pass, and they are going to get an interception. So they drop back. The Packers do. They throw it. They think they have it, but it's an interception by the Minnesota Vikings defense. 14 yards down the field. So 10 and 4 is down to the 18. So that's where Minnesota picks it off. Let's see about their interception return. That will be 22 yard. No, not 22. 14. So 10 and 14 out to the 32. And they're not going to try for they have an asterisk. They're not going to try for the touchdown right now. So 14 yards on the return, and they dodge a bullet. So with 2, 4, 6, 7 plays left in the half, let's see if they can get themselves down the field. 1st and 10 for the Vikings. Inside run, real conservative. Halfback is +1, but a -2 on the defense equals a -1. So it brings up 2nd down and 11. 2nd and 11. A 3 will be an inside run again. As they go to the fullback, 3 - 2 is 1. They'll get back to the original line of scrimmage, just trying to run the clock out here, I think. 3rd down and 10. So 3rd and long for the Vikings. It'll be a timing pass. Timing pass is incomplete, and that is a tough 3 and out for Minnesota, as they're going to have to punt the ball away with 5 cards left. So Minnesota a 41 on their punt. 10, 20, 30, 40, and 1 down to the 17. The Packers have a 15 with an asterisk. They're going to use their asterisk here and try to score on the punt. I don't know if you only get one opportunity or if you just don't get any opportunities until you get as many as you want till you score. That's how I'm playing. So on an asterisk, if it is a 1 or a 2, it's a TD. If it's a 5, 6, it's a fumble. It's a 3, 4, none of the above. And Green Bay takes over 1st and 10 from their own 42. All right, we do have a 2-minute offense. So let's go ahead and pull that out, seeing as we got about 2 minutes left. If you divide it up by 30, what do they play? They play 50. It's 15-minute quarters, right? So 30. So each card is about 30 seconds. That's one. Say about 2.5 minutes left. So let's run a regular first play, and then we'll get into the 2-minute offense after that. So 1st down and 10. Inside run, 2 to the fullback becomes 4, becomes 5, and that's out to the 47. So now we're going to get into the 2-minute plays, which is what I put together before the game began. So we have an outside run on a 1, progression pass on 2 to 4, timing pass on 5 to 6. So assuming you got to get down the field. So 2nd down and 5. A 3 is going to be a timing or a progression pass, and that'll be incomplete. Obviously, that is not the strong suit of the Packers. And brings up 3rd down and 5. A 1 is going to be an outside run. That goes to the fullback. 2 becomes 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So that's a 1st and 10 from Minnesota territory as they run for it on the 1st down. 2 plays left in this one. They can call timeouts, so to extend the game. And there is also a Hail Mary chart that we can, try to use in this game. 3, progression pass, 10 to the flanker. The flanker is a -2. And defense here is a -2. So 10 - 4 is 6 as they get the completion. And that takes it down to the 42-yard line. They're going to call a timeout. This will be timeout number 1. And so we're going to draw a play here. 2nd down and 4. I'm going to hold this last card just for the Hail Mary. You need to have 1 card in your hand to throw the Hail Marys. So we'll see if we even need it. If we may not. A 6 is going to be a timing pass. That's going to be 11 yards to the wide receiver. 11 - 4 is going to be 7 more yards. And that'll be a 1st down and 10. So 7 takes it down to the 35. As they pick up a 1st down, they're calling timeout number 2. And we're going to run the play here. A 5 is another timing pass. This time it's incomplete. And they're going to have to call another timeout in order to get another play. So they got to get to the 34 to get into field goal range. They're not in field goal range yet, so they need to try to get a few more yards here. 3 is going to be a progression pass, 5 to the split end. Their split end is a -1, so that's 5 minus 3 is 2. That does get them into field goal range, as weak as that is. That gets them into field goal range, and I'm going to make them use their last card to kick the field goal. So they just need to use that, and they're going to try for the field goal attempt as they're now in field goal range. So it's going to be a 4-4 is a miss, a 2-2 is nothing, so that's going to be a made field goal. As they run the 2-minute offense perfectly, they put up 6 points here in the second quarter, and it's now 10-6, Minnesota in the lead over the Packers. So let's go ahead and shovel up the cards for halftime. We'll come out and we'll start the second half. All right, and we are back for second half action. Green Bay will get the ball first as they played the 2-minute drive about as well as you could play it. They got themselves down into field goal range and made the field goal with time expiring. It'll be 1st and 10 from the Green Bay 27. 10-6 is our score with Minnesota in the lead. Minnesota totally pleased. They're going to keep with the game plan at this point. They got to keep pushing on the gas because Green Bay is getting huge chunks of yardage. Already 25 carries in the first half for a bunch of yards. So 1st and 10 for Green Bay. Green Bay knows if they just keep pushing on the Minnesota front line that they're going to break at some point. 1st and 10, 4 plus 3 is 7. And why not when you're getting 6 or 7 yards per carry? So just keep running the ball. Lombardi knows at some point this is all going to break down. 6 on 2nd and less than 4. A 6 is going to be an inside run. That's a 3-yard gain. 1, 2, 3, and they get what they need for the first down. So 1st down and 10 for Green Bay. First down play is going to be an inside run. That'll be 3 more yards out to the 40. 2nd down and 7. Three on 2nd and 7 is an inside run. 2 to the half or 0 to the halfback. The halfback is a +1, so that's only going to be 2 yards to the halfback. Brings up 3rd down and 5. So 3rd and 5 for the Green Bay offense. They are going to have either an outside run or a timing pass on 3rd and 5. Let's see if they can complete. 2 is an outside run to the halfback. That'll be just a 2-yard gain. And they now have 4th down and 3. No need to panic from their offense, so they're going to kick the ball away here. They have a 42 yards, so 10, 20, 30, 40, and 1, 2 down to the 14, and just a 5-yard return for Minnesota. So they flip the field. Punt number 3 for the Pack, and Minnesota takes the ball deep in their own territory. Let's see if Minnesota can get anything going. They lived on big plays in the first half, but they had a big fumble deep in their own territory, which led to a Green Bay score. And they have not done very much since then. 1st and 10. This is an inside run, 3 to the halfback. That's the strength of the Minnesota offense. So 4 minus 2, just 2 yards. But they get going. 2nd down and 8. 3 on 2nd and 8 is an outside run, -1 to the halfback, so that negates the halfback. So that leads to a -2-yard loss. Takes them right back to the line of scrimmage, or the original line of scrimmage, as they're going to wind up with a 3rd and long, 3rd and 10 for Minnesota. This is going to be a 6 is a progression pass. No. 6 is an outside run. That's a busted play. This is a terrible card. It's got 2 busted plays, a tiny progression pass, and a sack with an injury. So that's a card to avoid. Outside run, busted play. So we're going to take the worst play out of this one. Oh, could have had a 27 there. 5 for the halfback. That's the busted play. So instead of a big long run, we take the inside run. 5 to the halfback becomes 6. 6 minus 2 is 4. And so even on a busted play, they get some yardage, but it's not going to be enough. So 4th down, Minnesota has to punt. 10, 20, 30, 40, and 1 out to the 36. And 10 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 huge punt returns for Green Bay. And they're going to take the ball 1st and 10 at the Minnesota 49. That's where they get to start their possession. So Green Bay on offense, 1st down, a 4 is going to be an inside run. 7 to the halfback becomes 8. Plus 1 is 9, and that's all the way out to the 40. 2nd down and 1. So 2nd and 1 inside run. Minus 2 to the halfback. So good defense from Minnesota. Negates the fullback. Negates the fullback's 0. I'm not going to play injuries here, but negates it. So 0, and they managed to get 1 yard out of that. So even with the defense playing out over their skis, they get a 1 yard gain and a 1st down. Now, if you were playing injuries, you would take the fullback and you would make the fullback a 0. That would change the game significantly for Green Bay. 1st and 10 from the Minnesota 39. 3 is going to be an inside run. So that's 3 yards. 1, 2, 3 for the fullback. And that'll be a good start to the drive or to the series. 2nd and 7. 4 on 2nd and 7 is an inside run. That's going to be another 3 yards. Down to the 33, brings up 3rd down and 4 for the Pack. 5 on 3rd and 4 is a timing pass. That's going to be incomplete as they go for the big one. And that'll bring up 4th and 4. They're down 10-6. And they're in field goal range, I believe, yes. So do we take the points, knowing they're the better team? Or do we go for the jugular? I think they're just going to stay steady here, and they're going to take the opportunity for the field goal. 4-4 is a miss. It's a 2-2. No miss on the play. And the Packers hit on a 3rd field goal of the game. So here in the 3rd quarter, the Pack cut the lead to 1. 10-9 is the score. And Minnesota will take over 1st and 10, I believe, from their 24. Yeah. So 10-9 is our score. Minnesota 1st down and 10. They have not done a whole lot against this Packers defense, especially since the end of the 2nd quarter. 5 on 1st and 10 is a timing pass. We're going to have a quarterback pressure. We're going to take the worst of the 2 plays for the passing. The worst of the 2 plays is a 13. This one's a 29, so that's a good card to pull. And a 13 to the split end. Minnesota has a +3, so it's going to be 16 minus 2 is 14. And 14 is a good busted play. So 14, that's going to be a 1st down out to the 38. And the quarterback scrambles away and makes a good throw. And that's going to be a 1st down for Minnesota. Inside run to the halfback. 4 minus 2 is 2. Steady as she goes. And 2nd down and 8. A 4 on 2nd and 8 is an outside run. 3 to the halfback becomes 4. So that's going to be 2 more yards out to the 42. Brings up 3rd down and 6 for the Vikings. 3rd and 6, it's going to be an outside run or a timing pass. This will be a timing pass. It is incomplete, and they are not able to hit on the pass. So that's going to lead to another Vikings punt. No desperation here. They're up 10-9. 10, 20, 30, 40, and 1. And then 10, 15 out to the 32. So, 1st and 10 Green Bay as they hold and get the ball back. They're going to have to start from their own 32 this time, though. 5 is going to be an inside run. That'll be 3 yards to the fullback, out to the 35. 2nd and 7. 4 is an outside run. 4 to the running back. The running back is a -2. So 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 plus 1 is still a 3-yard gain, out to the 38. And brings up 3rd down and 1, 2, 3, 4. A 3 on 3rd and 4 is an outside run. The outside run is to the running back. That's a -2. -2 plus 1 is a -1. And no help from the bench here as they hand it off to the backup. And they'll take a -1 loss. So good job by Minnesota holding there. The Packers are not going to blow the game right here in the 3rd quarter. So 10, 20, 30, 40, and 1, 2. Is that right? 42, yeah. And then a 5-yard return. Minnesota will start 1st and 10 from their 26. 4th punt of the game for the Pack. So the Packers racking up a lot of yards on the ground, but Minnesota holding just enough. 1st and 10 for the Vikings. Can they come up with some big plays? 4 is going to be an outside run. 6 to the halfback is a 7. 7 minus 2 is a nice 5-yard gain on 1st down. Takes the ball out to the 31. And Minnesota cooking. A 5 on 2nd and 5 is going to be another outside run, this time 7 to the halfback. So that's 8 minus 2 is 6, and that'll be a 1st down run out to the 37. So Minnesota finding a hole and getting it together on this particular drive. 1st down and 10. 4 is another outside run. They're finding some daylight out there. 4 minus 2 is 2, and that's to the 39. 2nd down as they have 13 yards on their last 3 running plays. 2nd and 8. 5 is going to be a timing pass. That'll be incomplete, and that puts them behind schedule now. So 2nd and 8 becomes 3rd and 8. So this is either a timing pass or an outside run. It's a timing pass. They're going to take a sack. And on a timing pass, they're going to take these 2 numbers here. They're going to add them together. So instead of just 1 or the other, it's 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. So that's -2 on the sack, puts them back at the original line of scrimmage, and that's where this one is going to stall out. So sack for -2, first sack of the day for either team. And that'll lead to another Vikings punt. So 10, 20, 30, 40, and 1. And then 10, 15. As every situation that goes by, we're now 2 minutes. 2 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. So every time that goes by, every series that goes by is time off the clock because these all represent the clock. So this is what you got left here in the 3rd. Green Bay will start 1st and 10 from their 37. And this will be an inside run. 5 becomes 6, and that's out to the 43. So 2nd down. Minnesota has given up a lot of yards, but they have not given up a lot of points. Only 9 so far to the Pack. 2nd down and 4. 1 is going to be an inside run to the halfback. So that's 2 plus 1 is 3, and that takes it out to the 46 as Minnesota stops them just short of the 1st down. It'll be 3rd and 1 with 1 minute left here in the 2nd. 2 on 3rd and 1 is an inside run. 3 to the halfback becomes 4, becomes 5, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as they cross midfield out to the 49. Good pickup there on 3rd and short by the halfback. It's 1st First and 10 from the Minnesota 49. 3 back to the inside run. This would be the fullback with 7-yard pickup. The referees spot the ball at the 42. And that is where we'll start quarter number 4. And let me get one last shuffle, and we'll get to the exciting conclusion of this game between the Vikings and the Green Bay Packers. For the fourth quarter, this one an exciting game, 10-9, as Minnesota is ahead by a single point. They've executed their game plan perfectly at this point. And we'll see if they need to change anything here in the fourth quarter, but everything is looking good for them. Green Bay hoping that they can just punch one in here. Six, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are our timeouts. And Minnesota, they have not had to change. They play bend but not break defense against this Green Bay Packers offense. Green Bay will have second down and 3 from the Minnesota 42. We'll see if they can keep this up. Minnesota's just hoping, like any playing against any team where you're outmatched, hopefully you get a couple of big plays, you put them on their heels, and then you're just praying for some turnovers. There have been 2 turnovers in the game for the Packers, an interception early on and a fumble back in the first quarter or second quarter. The Vikings have committed 1 turnover, so they are winning the turnover battle 2-1. So if they can keep that up, I think they're going to do all right, but this Packer offense is solid. So they are going to have second down and 3. A 6 on second and 3 is going to be an inside run as they pound it for 3 more yards, and that'll be a first down. Second and short, they're not playing around. There's only the inside run to go to, so they're not going to turn the ball over easily. First and 10, a 3, another inside run. That'll be 2 + 1 + 1 is 4, and the halfback picks up 4 yards on first down. Brings up second down and 6. Second and 6, another inside run. 4 becomes 6 becomes 7, and that'll put the ball out to the 28. So just enough for a first down, and nice run there from the Pack. First and 10 from the Minnesota 28 as the steamroller that is the Packers offense continues to move down the field. This is a big play. 13 + 3 is 16, so it's going to be 10 and 6. Takes the ball down to the 12. It'll be first and 10 from the 12-yard line. They can technically sorry, I shouldn't talk right at the same time. They can technically get a first down without scoring, but let's see if they do that. They're going to go with their goal line plays. Not the goal line, the red zone. So basically inside and outside running is what they got on the goal, or the inside the red zone. 6 is going to be an outside run to the running back. 3 - 2 is 1. 1 + 1, they even get 2 yards out of that. So second down and 8 from the 10. 1, that's going to be back to the inside run. 0 to the halfback becomes still a 2-yard gain, and they'll set up for third down and 6 from the 8. They have a 4. 4 in the red zone for them is going to be an inside run to the running back. That's -1 + 1. So that's going to be stuff for no gain as they get down to the 8-yard line, and that's as far as they are going to go. They are well within the halfway point of the place kicking yards to go, which is they have to get to the 34. So half of that is 17. They're well within that, and that's going to be an automated field goal. So field goal number 4 on the day for the Green Bay Packers, and they take the 12-10 lead as slowly and steadily, like a boa constrictor, they just tighten around you, and that running game is hard to stop. So the Pack take a lead. It'll be 1st and 10 for Minnesota from the 24. Let's see if the Vikings have some offense to put together as they try to get off the mat. 1st and 10 for Minnesota. 5 is going to be a timing pass. That's going to be incomplete. Probably not the best way to go, as they've missed on their last 3 passes. That includes a sack. So 2nd down and 10. 2 on 2nd and long is going to be an outside run to the fullback. 3 minus 2 is just a 1-yard gain and very modest. Brings up 3rd down and 9. So 3rd and long for the Minnesota Vikings. 3 on 3rd and long is a timing pass. That's going to be incomplete as well. And Minnesota feels this one. The crowd can feel it slipping away as they have to punt again. 10, 20, 30, 40, and 1. Hoping and praying for just a turnover to flip the field. But we'll see if Green Bay can ice this one away. 1st and 10 for the Pack. Sorry, it's another punt. Punt number 4 for Minnesota. 1st and 10, halfback is a plus 1, so they're going to get 2 yards out of that. As even the Packers' running game is slowed down just a little bit. 2nd and 8. A 4 on 2nd and 8 plus is an outside run. That's minus 2 to the halfback. So minus 2 plus 1 is minus 1. Plus 1 is a 0. So no yards gained on 2nd down. Brings 3rd down and 8. And this is an advantageous position for Minnesota. 2 on 2nd or 3rd and 7 plus is a progression pass. 6 to the tight end. Minus 2 is 4. Minus 2 is just 2 as they get a completion, but it's a little dump off and very short. So Green Bay's going to have to punt. 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, plus 5, and out to the 25. Minnesota starts 1st and 10. 4th quarter, 12-10. Green Bay leads over Minnesota in a real black and blue fest for the black and blue division. The NFC, it's North now, but I think it was a Central back then. So 1st and 10 for Minnesota. They have a 3 on 1st down. That's an outside run to the halfback. Minus 1. That becomes a minus 2. So, oof. Tough one. 2nd down and 12. 6 on 2nd and long is a timing pass, and that is an interception. So that'll be the first interception of the day for the Green Bay Packers as they pick it off down the field, trying to get some chunk yardage. It's 10 plus 4 down to 37. The interception return for Green Bay is 13. So 10, 1, 2, 3, and they're not going to chance the fumble. So they're just going to take it right there. That's pick number 1 for the Green Bay defense, and they're looking to put the nail in the coffin, the proverbial nail in the coffin here, as they start 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line. 5 on 1st down is back to the inside run. 3 minus 2 is 1, plus 1 is 2, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 8. They are at 51 rushes at this point. 4 on 2nd and 8. 4 is going to be an outside run to the halfback. 6 plus 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8, and that's going to be enough for a 1st down as they pick it up at the 14. So 8 yards and a 1st down. It's been 8 yards in a cloud of dust for the Packers in this one. I'll have to see what the rushing yardage is in this one. Let's get into the red zone. Inside or outside runs, that's what they got. 4 is going to be an inside run to the halfback. They'll eke out 1 yard, and that is 2nd down and 9. A 3 on 2nd and long is, we're in the red zone, so a 3 is an inside run. 6 to the fullback becomes 7, and that'll be down to the 6, brings up 3rd down and 2. And on the 3rd down play, another inside run to the halfback. 2 becomes 3. And 1, 2, 3, and they will set up First and goal from the 3. First and goal on their goal line, they have inside or progression pass. Inside is a 2. Well, a 2 is inside, I guess. We should say it like that. And that's going to be a 2-yard run to the halfback as he presses the pile forward 2 yards. Second down and goal. A 6, a progression pass. What are they doing? They catch Minnesota off guard with a throw to the running back, and nobody is out in the flat covering the running back. 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 minus 2 is 2, and they only needed 1, so that's going to be a 2-yard touchdown. Feather in the cap for the old Green Bay play calling. All right, so that's a touchdown. And we'll see about the extra point. A 1-1 is not a miss. So that's going to be a touchdown here. 10 points for Green Bay here in the fourth quarter has set them ahead. They're now up by a score of 19-10. And this one is out of range, really, for the Minnesota Vikings, as they are going to need a miracle. They only have a few minutes left here in the game. They'll start 1st and 10 from their own 24 as Green Bay puts this one away. The real score in this one was 23-7, I believe. So we're on pace, something similar to that. It will be 1st and 10 for Minnesota. Let's get them into the 2-minute offense. That way they'll just get a few more throwing plays in there. 6, this is a timing pass. That's going to be a sack with a possible quarterback injury or possible injury. 11 yards on the sack. Wow, that's not what you need. So second sack of the day for the Green Bay offense, 10-11, and it's 2nd down and 21. 2nd down and 21, we have a 5. 5 is another timing pass, this time 11 to the flanker. The flanker is a -2. Defense is a -2, so 11 minus 4 is 7, and that will be some yardage back. And it's 3rd down and 14. A 5, another timing pass, 13 to the tight end, will be 13 minus 4 is 9, so that's out to the 29. That's going to bring up 4th down and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So not enough. That sack was killer. And we're going to continue to run the timing pass, 17 to the wide receiver. So the wide receiver, that's a 0. 17 minus 2 is 15. And on 3rd and long, they get 10 and 15 out to the 44. So they probably just don't have enough plays left to score. Even with 8 points, they're going to come up 1 point shy, So we'll keep throwing it, though. 4 is a progression pass. 5 to the tight end. -4 is just a 1-yard gain. Positive, but not far. A 2 is an outside run. 3 to the halfback becomes 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. And we're going to set up 3rd down and 7. 3rd and 7. This will be another outside run, 4 to the halfback. 5 minus 2 is 3. And I think we got to go for the timing pass here. We don't. We're going to stick with the 2-minute offense. Let's see what they got. A 1, that's an outside run, 2 to the fullback. 2 minus 2 is 0, and they pick up nothing trying to get to the outside with the fullback, and that's going to be a turnover on downs. So it was a slim outside chance anyway that Minnesota was going to get down the field. We got one more card left, 1st and 10 for Minnesota, or for Green Bay. They're going to eke out a 3-yard gain, and that is going to be how the game ends. So Green Bay, with 57 rushes to 10 passes in this game as their game plan, was clearly to stuff the ball down the Minnesota defense's throat. And over time, it paid off. They win by a score of 19-10. And like I said, 23-7, I think, was the final in the actual game. So this one, about what you thought and about what I thought was going to happen as well, as Minnesota comes up a little bit short. They were able to hang. They were up 10-6 at half, 10-9 after the third quarter, but that Green Bay offense just kept leaning on the defense and put up 10 points in the fourth quarter. The interception here, a killer. The sack, also a killer. And Green Bay with 2 sacks and an interception. The Vikings defense did get 1 pick and a fumble recovery off of Green Bay, but there were a lot of plays with no turnovers, so everything happened in the first half. Come second half, Green Bay turned it on. They scored 13 of their 19 in the second half and blanked Minnesota 13-0 in the second half, so that really was the tale of the game. This is using the 1972 teams for the new Field General Football. I really like this. So you're going to get a blank template like this that has all of your situations here. You can see all the different situations, including red zone, goal line, when you're backed up. So like inside your own 10 or 20. And then the 2-minute drill, what kind of plays do you want to call in 2-minute offense? And then you have all of your downs and distances here. So I just filled everything out. I just kind of put lines through to signify this is, inside run all the way to 1 to 5. I started doing it like this, and I was like, that's ridiculous. But you can do that if you want to. So this was the game plan just for this game. So I looked at both teams, and I said, okay, what's your versus the run? What's your versus the pass? And then I shaped their game plan to this game. So you can literally do that with each of the teams. Minnesota's game plan probably would not be to throw so many timing passes. You can see here, 3rd down and 3, or 3rd and 3rd to 6, 3 to 6. They're throwing half of them are timing passes. Maybe in reality they would have put timing pass down here and had a few more progression passes, but I felt like they needed to take more chances. It was paying off earlier in the game with some huge gains, 19, 29, 23, 28, 29. That was all in the first half when they were doing well and sticking with the team. But as soon as they stopped getting those big-time passes, that was pretty much it for them. They had to hit on those big plays. They needed big outside runs. They needed this kind of run, 46 to the halfback. They had to have stuff like that in order to win the game. And they just, petered out after the first half as Green Bay just keep pushing on you, and eventually you wear out. So that was the Green Bay game plan. You can see all of these are inside runs. So from first down all the way to 2nd and less than 4, that's almost all inside runs. Every down, doesn't matter the distance, 2nd and 8 or more, they're running inside. That was the strength of their team, and so I was just going to lean right into that. That's not how they played the actual game. They didn't have 57 rushes, but they needed it here. So I created the game plan, which I think is very cool. There's also some automated game plans here that you can do that have different downs and distances and stuff like that, and I'll try to port this over onto that more detailed gameplay sheet. But we have West Coast, Smash Mouth, Pro Style Offense. This if you have a lot of really good balance between backs and receivers. So thinking, like the 80s, a lot of people ran the Pro Style Offense with the 2-back system. So, and then air raid and run and shoot obviously coming in later. But ball control and Smash Mouth, really good options for these teams here in the 1970s. Just kind of keep the game close, don't make mistakes, run the ball. And that's what you're sort of thinking about. But if you got some pretty good receivers, or if you're playing a poor pass defense, the West Coast offense could work as well. So, yeah, really cool stuff. And you'll get this cheat sheet. I was using the cheat sheet here. Just tells you what to do with different things. And then on the back, some of the less common types of things that come up in the game. you'll just have those at your disposal. And then really, this is the section here that until it gets locked into my brain, I can't always remember it, because remembering these random numbers is a little bit different. So until you get that kind of locked into your mind, I have a pretty good sense of what happens on each of these plays, so that's not such a big deal. But this is especially helpful on a progression pass, on a sack. You just look at the number on the whatever the team's number. So if it's the visiting team that takes the sack, you look at the 1 on the left. If it's the home team, you look at the 1 on the right. And then if it's a timing pass, you simply add both of these for a longer sack yardage lost. And then what to do with different fumbles, a 6-6 on a fumble question mark, the offense can keep possession. If it's just a fumble or fumble lost, then there's no check. So the defense just gets the ball. And on an interception, that's kind of what you do. It makes a lot of sense. You check the yardage on the thing, move it there, look at the interception return yardage, return the pickoff. If you want to roll for the asterisk, you can. If you don't want to, then you don't have to. You risk a fumble if you do that. But you can possibly get a touchdown. So you got to kind of use that wisely. And then on broken plays and quarterback pressures, you saw that. You take the worst of the inside or outside run, and on a quarterback pressure, you take the worst of the passing plays. So everything is really flowing well, really making a lot of sense. This feels like the game that I saw the box score for. So it didn't come out exactly, but it came out pretty close. And the results are different because I made different choices about how to put the game plan together. I just wanted to have that. So this time I put a game plan together, but then I used the automated system for executing the game plan. I could also put the game plan together and then just use that as a menu so that I'm calling plays myself, or you can just totally call plays on the fly. You don't have to put a game plan together at all. Having a game plan and kind of what you want to do, how you want to attack the team, that feels like a really cool football simulation to me. I don't know of other games that are going to allow you to see everything and put a game plan together. I guess you could technically do that for like a strat or an APA, but it's not necessarily encouraged per se. And this game does not use, it's not outcome based. We're not trying to hit anything particular. The kicking and stuff like that is going to come out exactly as it was, as their averages are for their main kick returners or punt returners or whoever it is. So that's fixed. There's no trying to figure out and get to a certain number. You're going to get that average kick returners yards. Okay, so that's what you're going to get. But it's in terms of play-by-play, each player has an effect on the play, whether it's positive or minus, just like most every other tabletop football game. The defense is going to have an effect on every single play. And so the defense is like the enemy that you have to consider every time. And so when you're putting the game plan together, you really have to look at the defense. If you're playing the Oilers, who are +2 against the run, your team is not particularly a running team. You should probably put more running plays into the mix for that game against them, even if you don't want to do that against the Packers, who are a -2 run, right? So you just really have to kind of look week by week and figure out, okay, what mixture of plays am I going to put together based off of the team that I have and the resources at my disposal to be able to do this. And I'll just address this here because most people aren't going to get there at an hour and 15 minutes. But if you are, maybe it's interesting to you. But I feel like this is more of a role-playing game. I hesitate to say that because it's not. It's a sports game. But it feels to me like it has roots. I can see it. It's role-playing roots playing out. It's kind of a hero game in those ways. So you are the person who is making the decisions, and the responsibility is to you. This is not a sit back and watch it kind of game. We did that a little bit today, but I also decided the direction that we were going to go whenever we're sitting back and watching it. But the idea at its fullness is that at every moment you're making decisions. You're looking at your players that you have available. So your running back, halfback, your receivers, your bench, and you're looking at your punting and their punt returns, and you're looking kind of at the net of how that'll play out. You're looking at your place kicking. Do you have a good enough place kicker to kind of push it, or is your play, you got to go really far to get down there, so you need to really play field position defense. So you were looking at all those things, and you're looking at that enemy, that defense, and you're trying to decide, how can I best utilize these resources against this enemy to get down the field? Today, the Minnesota Vikings had a +3 split end. The defense is only a +2 on defense. And maybe I should have thrown the ball even more based off of that. Like in the second half, I should have stepped up how much I throw the ball, which you could totally do. You can just change the game plan, or the quarterback can just start making decisions about, we got to throw the game plan out the window. The game plan was working fine. We were up 10-9 going, into the third quarter. And then once we got behind, it was just too late to do anything really about it. But you could have decided, okay, like we need to double down on timing passes, trying to get the ball to the split end. Because the split end, if we can get it to him, his +3 negates that -2. In fact, he comes out as a +1. So he more than negates it. He's actually better than that defense. So that was why I put more timing throws into the game plan than probably would have happened. That's part of why we got these big, huge, chunk plays, is because we were throwing the ball down the field based off of, if we hit that split in, we have the advantage. If we don't hit the split in, it's a little tough. But even the bench is a 0, so there were either a backup running back or backup or wide receiver or somebody that was pretty good. And so we had even a little bit of an advantage on the bench plays, because we're at least not losing anything with the receiver. We're only losing the 2 yards on the pass. So that's my thinking, and that's kind of how you have to use your resources that are around you to attack that enemy, to attack that defense. And at that point, you're playing hero ball. You're trying to get past that hurdle, to get past that enemy, and to get far enough down the field to score points. So to me, there's a parallel there to that. There's also a parallel to golf, where you feel like, okay, you get into a rhythm of the situation and you get that first really good hole that you play, where you went from the tee to the green to the putting, and everything worked, right? Everything that you thought was supposed to work, it worked just like you thought. You get that drive in the game, and it feels like, okay, like I figured it out. And then you go to the very next hole, you hit it off the tee, and you're in the woods to the left. All of a sudden, you got a snowman, and you're like, what happened to that par that I just made? Well, the game situation changed. The hole changed. Everything changed. So, based off of where you are or what you're doing or the cards that you pull, some of it is luck, some of it is what you're trying to do, some of it is how do you recover. You don't have you don't have to take an 8, but did you pile one bad shot on top of another, and now you got 3 bad shots and 1 good one, and all of a sudden you're at an 8. When if you'd have taken 1 bad shot and had 3 okay shots, maybe you would have taken a 6, and it would have been bad, but not as bad, right? So to me, that's how it feels. It feels like playing golf in that way, where you think you got it figured out, you play really well, you hit a birdie or you hit a par, and you're like, man, that felt really good. And then the very next play, you're just on your face with a 7 or an 8, and you're just like, what in the world happened? I thought I figured it out. So every situation changes all throughout the game, and it's totally unique in its gameplay. So I very much encourage you, when this comes out, to buy it, to try it. And I think it's a very, very interesting sports gaming experience. Now, I personally have had a lot of ideas in the past about doing like a group RPG, Dungeons and Dragons style baseball game, where you gather a group of friends and you are playing the players on the team. So you're making the decisions about what you're going to do and where you're going to go and how that's going to work out based off of the situations. And you kind of have a DM who's telling you the action. Okay, it's a ground ball that's hit to your right. If you try to do this, this is what's going to happen. And you have to use your skill and think about your skill about what you're going to do. So am I going to try to make that throw to third to get the runner going second to third? Am I going to stop, turn to second, try to get that runner at second base, but now we have runners at first and third? Or do I try to make the throw across the diamond based off of the situation, and then have runners at second and third? So just little different things like that. Do I swing? Do I miss? Do I take it? That kind of stuff. So where you would be first person on the field, which that doesn't really happen a lot outside of computer gaming. And so to me, this feels like the kind of decision making that you would have to make if you were in a Madden type situation and you're looking at everybody and you're like, okay, I got to get the ball to the different people in the game. It's a lot more like a computer game than any tabletop game, even the ones that I've made. Maybe on base baseball advanced, I've gotten to that level where you are making choices about, okay, I'm throwing a changeup here, I'm throwing a curveball here, I'm throwing a fastball. And then based off of that, something happens, but you have kind of the supreme choice about how you want, what choices you want to make. Do you want to throw it in the zone, out of the zone, etc.? So I hope you try it out because I think it's very cool. And hopefully you can see that it plays well, plays standard. This is not a non-standard football game. It's not some kind of whacked out abstraction. This is just a regular football game. But it's got this like element where you're not just sitting back, you're actually participating, whether it's in pregame and then you let it play out, or pregame and then you actually are making changes on the fly as you go along, or you use the presets and then you make all those changes all along, or you simply use everything preset, you flip, it's all automated, so you'll be able to do that as well. There were some questions about the efficacy of the ratings system, and Jason and I had talked about that before. And so if you think about, okay, so every team is going to run, approximately 60 plays. So if all things being equal, if you have 60 plays, and let's say there are 100 rushing yards in those 60 plays, if you have a 0 rated running back, that is going to be 100 yards. If you have a 1 rated running back, that's going to be 160 yards. Now, the defense can take that away too, right? So the defense can take away, a -2 defense, or let's just say a -1 defense negates that. So you have the potential for 160 yards. That's if you ran it every single play, which you're not going to do, but this is just an example. So let's say 160 yards. Let's say you run half the time. So you get 30 runs, 30 passes. 30 runs is going to be 130 yards. If you have a -1 defense, that negates that +1 on offense. So you wind up with the standard 100 yards that you would have gotten. If you have a +2 running back against a -1 defense, then you go back to that original 130 yards. Because with a +2, you got an extra 30 yards plus an extra 30 yards. So +2 would be an extra 60 yards. So you'd have 160. The defense would sort of draw away 30 yards on that. So you wind up with 130 yards instead of 100, which is significant in a football game when you see that. Same thing goes for a -2 defense. If you have a 0 rated running back, and normally that would equal 100 yards in our scenario, a -2 on the defense would take away 60. So instead of 100, you have 40. So you can see there's some dramatic differences in the way that it plays out. That's if you run the ball 30 times, if everything works out to whatever its averages are. It could be 100, it could be 78. That part is determined a little bit by, I guess, luck or just what comes up in the deck. because maybe you don't get all the best running plays for your team. Maybe the best running plays go to the other team. It's just how the game works out. That's the narrative and the game flow. That is sort of the randomness of things. But that could happen just as easily if you're throwing dice for strat or wrap up. You could get into a rut where you're just throwing twos all the time, or, you're throwing some like crazy low numbers all the time for some team, or you get into a rut where it's like 6 or 8, 10, plays where you get all just the worst rolls that you could possibly imagine all get stacked on top of each other. That is part of the narrative. That's part of the storytelling of the game and how the game goes. In this one, everything was going right for Minnesota for a half, 3/4, and then it fell apart in the fourth. That's how football works, right? Over time, the best team is going to win. Over time, in order for the team that's not the best team to win, they just have to have some pretty miraculous things happen. So everything has to go right for them, and some things have to go wrong for the better team, and then you wind up with a dogfight. And that is determined by how these get shuffled and the randomness of the deck and what gets over here. There's some good plays in here. Look at that. So there's good runs over here. There are fumbles. That's an automated fumble that didn't happen in the game and wasn't going to happen in that quarter. So you get there's a 63-yard pass, or there's penalties that do happen. So because the deck gets split in half, these are all plays that are not going to get run in that quarter. Only these plays are going to get run in that quarter. So it could be you get a dud deck, for a quarter, and that just determines, maybe there's a gritty defensive performance or whatever. Or maybe all of the good plays wind up in this deck and nobody can stop anybody and teams are just boat racing down the field. So it just is, that's the randomness of the deck. But in terms of the player ratings, those are real yards gained or lost, which actually affects everything in the game. So to insinuate that they have no effect on the game or that they're just there for show is to say yards don't matter. Yards matter. This game is built on yards per play. Not complete. It's not built on it, but you can think about it as yards per play, up or down. And every yard gained, every yard lost is field position. And again, this game comes back to how do you manage your field position? It is not based on outcomes alone. You're not trying to hit outcomes. You're trying to figure out the shape of the team against the shape of this other team. And how can I use that shape to beat that other shape? So how can I use what this team does best to negate what the other team does worse? This is the ultimate, like, Bill Belichick kind of game. It's a coaching game. It's a pregame decision game. It's a in-game decision game. It's go with your gut kind of game. There may be other ones. I've not seen anybody play games like that. I've never played Strat or Appa or whatever, but I've never seen any. I've seen a lot of games from those game companies. I've seen people playing them, and they don't say this is what it feels like. Like, you feel the tension, or I'm just going to go with my gut on this one. I think a lot of people try to automate that out so that there is no gut or anything like that. But in this game, go with your gut. Like, you think, okay, this is the right time to throw a timing pass. Oh, it's incomplete. You got like a gut feeling about something. I think this is the moment. This is the moment in the game based on the situation. I need to hit something here. If I don't hit something here, I don't think I can get there. And so you got to go with your gut with stuff like that, just like a regular coach on the sidelines would go with something like that. So I think that the game has a tremendous amount of tension, a tremendous amount of replayability, because depending on the way you lay things out or call plays, every game is completely and totally different, even if you play against the same two teams. You can just try a whole new strategy. What if I run the air raid offense with the 72 Vikings? What would happen? Would they improve? Would they get better? Would they just nosedive into oblivion? I think they were 7-7 in that season. So can I get them to 10 wins, or are they going to drop back to 2 wins? Because that's just really hard to do. But they have a 3 rated split in, so maybe, big throws vertical down the field and just keep hitting it, and hopefully you hit enough of them that you win the game, and you don't commit all the turnovers. So you have lots of different ways to experiment like that. The Chiefs are really good on offense. What if you did some kind of West Coast offense with the Chiefs? Would they improve? I mean, a +2 on their running is going to hurt them overall. But will they improve? They're a 0 intangible offense, so our team, so they're like mid-level, good offense, bad defense. But can you do things to overcome that bad defense? Can you make some huge plays? So there's lots of really, really interesting and really, really cool things that you can do here. They're all going to be leveled out. So everyone is rated on the same exact system, regardless of the season. So I'm not going to rate these based off of decades. I'm going to rate these based off of general football-ness. So all of the field general football ratings are the ones that I'm looking at, but the game will be leveled out. So if you're a -1 intangible in 1972, that means if you're playing someone from 1982 who's also a -1, your team is equivalent in those areas. Same thing if your players are +1, they're equivalent in terms of like their production during the season. And same thing with defenses. So things will be leveled out. You'll be able to play cross era, I think, pretty competently. You'll be able to play cross era types of situations, because how the game goes and the way the game is played is dependent upon you. So that's just kind of how it is. It's dependent upon you. So do you want to throw the ball more? You're going to risk interceptions. Do you want to run the ball more? You're going to risk fumbles. That's just kind of how it is. So there are more turnovers at different times because defenses are better. There are more turnovers at different times because people just didn't throw progression passes. They didn't throw the high percentage passes. So if there are more interceptions in the 70s, it's because they were throwing bombs down the field. And honestly, in this game, you get penalized if you just continue to do that over and over. Or if you don't throw enough of them, it's like you get caught in the middle. If you don't throw enough timing passes, you won't see the positive effects. You may only see the negative effects of only throwing some timing passes. So it's kind of one of those things where you got to go all in or not. I've done that a couple of times with the outside runs. You just got to go in, and you just have to accept the fact that you're going to have fumbles and you're going to have big plays. If you want slow and steady offense, stay with those progression passes, stay with those inside runs. But if you don't have the horses to run that game, you don't have good receivers, you don't have good running backs, it's going to be really hard to do that. So it's very much a risk reward. You got to think about it like that. So that's just my 2 cents about the game. It feels really cool. It's very different than play action football, where you kind of just sit back and let the game play out in front of you, and it's not all decided beforehand because there is quite a bit of variability, but that variability is in the yards gained. It's not in decision making on each play. So variability in different places. Maybe you like this. Maybe you just want to sit back and watch something. I encourage you to go play action football and see if that's more to your liking or to your speed. That's more sit back and watch things happen. But this game is going to require you to think. It's going to require you to plan. It's going to require you to execute in real time, which is much more like a PC game or much more like a console game than any other tabletop game I've ever seen. So very excited about the future. Still working on components and doing that kind of stuff. And maybe this weekend I can continue to do more with that. I'm coming up with a new design. It'll be this font here. So It'll be this kind of typewriter, old school font. It'll still have the blue, but maybe some other things like a border. And I've already revamped the logo just a little bit. So different things like that. We'll put together a field specific for this that'll have some reminders. I'll put together a specific score sheet just for this because I'm kind of having to adapt this score sheet just a little bit. There's, offense and defense. That doesn't need to be there. Maybe here we can have a space for you to just write in all of your fullback, halfback, flanker, etc. That way you have everything right here on the sheet. You don't have to keep looking back over here to try to find that out. So you'll have your all of your adjustments will be on this on the score sheet. But I like this kind of team version of the score sheet. We can probably get, we can save some space down in here because you don't really need to know the punt is the same every time, right? It's the same punt average. You just need to know how many punts are in the game. So that will be that'll be one part of the project, and then I'm going to look at the fictional team creation, and there's just a lot of different parts of the game to kind of look through and see what could be incorporated into the game further. All right, if you have not subscribed to the channel, click on subscribe. You'll get notified of new videos when I post them. If you like this video, then you can give it a thumbs up. That's a really easy way to support what we're doing here. If you want to go farther, you can go to clarkandaddisongaming.com, pick up pick up a season of play action football. We got baseball games, we got basketball games. There is AIG Soccer's in beta, and the new baseball game, AIG Baseball, is also in full season beta, so you can download the 1979 MLB season and play the entire season to your heart's content. You get every, I think for most teams, you get every pitcher, and then you'll have up to 15 batters, including pitchers that hit for those teams, or at least the starting pitchers, like your top 3 or 4 starting pitchers for each team are carded, so to speak. You can cut the cards if you want to. I prefer to keep them together on a sheet, but they're definitely separated out as cards, and you can play those. If you want to check out what that game is like, I've got lots of videos here. I've started replaying the 1979 season, so just every game. I've got several videos on the channel for that. You can see how it's developed over time. Kind of an old school classic status pro type of game. It's actually more in line with another, I can't remember what the greatest baseball game in the world or something like that is called. Steve Etzel did a video on that one time. So it's actually more in line with an older game from the 60s or 70s than it is even status pro, but it's kind of got that look and feel to it. Precision baseball is coming. That's a big one. That's a very detailed, highly detailed baseball game. It's going to take about an hour to an hour and a half to play a game, but has some very, very unique things, like especially the pitcher hitter interactions, the depth and quality of the. It's got a D1000 roll, so a lot of depth, a lot of precision. Precision in the base running and the fielding is off the charts. So if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty of baseball, that's a great one. It includes ballparks with special effects for each ballpark, and just a lot of cool stuff. And on-base baseball is always out there. The 2025 season has been going since before the World Series was finished. So you can replay out the 2025 season already. There will be the new projected roster sheets come out in spring training, so those will project the ratings for on-base baseball, which allows you to play along with the season as it happens. So in real time, you can play the 2026 MLB season if you want to do that. So that'll be coming out in probably February or March. Once rosters get a little bit more solidified, usually like mid-March with a couple of weeks left before the season starts, especially if big free agents have already signed and there's not really any activity that's going to happen after that. I usually put that out there about mid-March. So look for that, sometime around spring break. And then you'll be able to to pre-play or to play along with the season as it goes. Play action football, once the season ends, I'll get to work on the new 2025 season, so the season that's going right now. I do use final stats for that, so I'll have to wait until that's over. And don't know if I'll be able to get that out before the playoffs, but before the playoffs end. But you get, quite a bit of time before the Super Bowl. So, it's like a month. So maybe I'll be able to get it out within a month. It only takes me, if I work on it hard, it probably only takes me a couple days, 3 days to do a season or play action football. But that's working on it pretty hard. Usually it's about a week or so because, I just have to level out the season play results chart. And that takes a little bit of time to kind of go through, and I have to figure, all the averages, and then I got to figure out how many, completion percentage and all that kind of stuff. It's always a little bit different each year. And what else is coming? AIG hockey I've talked about. Haven't really gotten back to the hockey game and golf, and there may be some opportunities with Jason to do some of his Flash series games. And maybe if I can get my head wrapped around this and get this moving, at least for the first 70s set, and just kind of get everything set where all I'm doing is rating teams, maybe I can start to think about other games after that. But there's a little bit of an uphill climb in order to get the components and everything together. And, I'd like to make this a printable as well as a printed set, so PDF. But also you could order a printed set with the components and the FACs and stuff like that. So there's a little ways to go yet on this one, even though all the pieces are there, trying to bring it together. I'm also putting together what's called a quarterback handbook, which is going to help you understand these 4 different plays. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? How can you utilize them? What are the best times and opportunities? What are the best kinds of teams to use these approaches? And also we have the different offenses, and you'll be able to do that, and maybe just exploring what do these offenses do. I remember from the old Madden books from the mid to late 90s, they used to have like how to play. So it would be a teaching tool. How do you use these plays effectively in the game? When's the best time to run this kind of defense, etc.? And I want to have that sort of handbook of not only the mechanics of, okay, this is how you resolve an interception, but that'll be in there too. But also kind of this handbook of, okay, let's think about how to think through this game, because it does require you to think through this game, and it's a lot more like a video game than any tabletop game I've played. So I think that's totally appropriate to do something like that. So I'm going to create that quarterback handbook, and I've already got a pretty good start on it. But it walks you through, how to think about what is the deck, what's happening in the deck, what sort of things are going on in the deck as a whole. Obviously, you're only playing with half the deck at a time, so it doesn't fully, all the percentages don't fully apply on every single play. But just generally, like what's going on in the deck, how is it split, how do you think about the deck? Here's some things to remember when you're playing the game, some things to help you as you fill out your play calling sheet. What kinds of things should you be thinking about in the game? And I've explained some of those things here, but that'll be in this like separate quarterback handbook that you can flip through, and it might be good reading, just interesting reading. And we're going to have different quarterback types, so you'll be able to apply quarterback types to things like broken plays or special plays. There'll be special abilities that you can layer in if you want your quarterback to behave a little bit more like Steve Young, or you want him to be a little bit more like Dan Marino or Brett Favre. And so, just like this gunslinger one that he's got special abilities. So if you want to layer that in, you can. That's a little bit more gamification, but also kind of brings in some realism. with some of these games as well, especially if you know the quarterback and the type of quarterback it is. It'll also help you with fictional, so you can layer in that as part of your fictional team. You can say, okay, this quarterback that I created is a gunslinger quarterback, or he's a system quarterback, or he's a field general quarterback, and then when he does this, it's like this, and then there's nothing to compare it to, so it totally like layers in and feels right. But we all know, especially the special quarterbacks, what kind of person they are, and what type of reaction should fit well, with them. So that is pretty cool. That's a lot of information coming at you. I know I'm taking a lot of your time, but Saturday mornings I have a little bit more time. So if you made it this far, good on you. And if not, I guess it doesn't matter. You didn't hear any of this. But this game is 19-10. Green Bay wins over Minnesota. This was like a late season matchup in 1972. And just wanted to take my shot at creating a play calling sheet for each team based on the matchup itself. And so again, this will come with the game. It's like, I didn't print it front and back, but it's got 4 of these that you can print front and back. And you can make one general, one for your team or for each team, and then just cut it out. Or you can have it for every matchup like this. And you can just say, okay, this is like week 1, 2000 whatever season, week 1. And then you can have that you can keep track of, how each team does or whatever. But you can have the actual play call sheet that you put together. You can follow that. You can use it as a menu to just say, okay, this is the down and distance. I have these plays to choose from, that type of thing. Just to keep yourself confined into a little bit more realistic version of the team or a totally unrealistic version of the team, however you want to do it. All right. Yeah, I think that's it from here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time.